So Imperative Waste Solutions is a company that I started in 2016 because South Africa has a very, very bad landfill crisis. And it's actually a very global crisis that's actually happening. And most waste streams, especially hazardous waste streams, are getting sent to landfills. And landfills are extremely full. So it's got to do with like fast fashion, medical waste, mining waste, and toxic waste streams. They've got no place to go. So they end up being sent to landfills. And right now the technologies are still underdeveloped and haven't been pushed to the world for them to be used so that we can make sure that these waste streams stop going to landfills and are recycled. It's a big movement that we're trying to do around the world. And it's a zero-emission, anti-landfill, hazardous waste collection and recycling movement that we are working on. And the problem is that the globe faces a landfill crisis, as sites in South Africa in particular, they're expected to be full in a few years. And provinces are not being granted new permits, and decades and decades of this has been piling up. And South Africa produces upwards of 65 million tons of this hazardous waste, of which only 6% of it is recycled. And we're trying to step in to make sure that this 6% goes as far up as it can. And the issue, like I said, is not only South African, it's global. So we look to collect hazardous waste from hospitals and mines. Sustainable technology that does not pollute is the kind of technology that we want to use. And we want to redirect this hazardous waste from landfills, and we turn this hazardous waste into reusable products such as fuels and sustainable building materials. And we capture emissions diverted from landfills on our waste data platform, and then sell that data to banks and institutions because they want to use it to make a good ESG score so that they can get a good rating from the credit agencies so that they can give loans to more sustainable projects and to other clients that need help from the banks. So our main aim is just to reduce, reuse, recycle hazardous waste. We're proudly sponsored by Pfizer, and after investment, investors will immediately gain 30 hospitals and 49 clinics just from one private hospital group alone. We also have letters of intent from one national mine, and you gain entry into global markets to service the very same emissions crisis. So scalability is quite rapid because the technology that we have is by our technology partners, which are in Canada. So it's going to be a case of you just making sure that you decide that, okay, you're in Dubai, there's a landfill crisis, get Imperative to come there, be able to fund us for the machine, and then we'll be able to do the services there. And we won't have to buy trucks fully, we won't have to buy things, we'll just outsource because we want to make sure that our business model is de-risked as possible. We want to be one of the first companies or waste companies that don't actually own most of their materials and most of the technologies that are used. So the trucks will be outsourced, the warehouse will be outsourced, only the technology will belong to us. So firstly, the industry isn't unified and uses outdated operational plans. So for instance, in the medical waste service, providers charge low costs for both waste destruction and collection combined. Then they use their highly polluting technology. Then they go dump it in our full landfills. Whilst clean technology provides charge much higher costs. So the people who use higher technology charge an extremely high cost to go collect the waste. And they don't actually do collection. It's not part of their service. So what happens is that when they do want to collect, they charge extremely high fees, which then means that there's a huge gap in the market for an affordable collection cost and affordable disposal cost. So that's where we come into the markets. We want to make sure that when we collect, the fees are low and we take it to a clean technology that is then doesn't release emissions and then turns the waste streams into reusable products. So that's our gap in the markets, and that's what we've identified that we can do. So the investment ask for now is $1.8 million US. This is for the clean tech, trucks, working capital, and our data platform. And we make money by developing our waste data platform to make sure that we capture the emissions, and we make money by charging collection fees and destruction fees. After 1 year, our annual revenue is projected to be $9.2 million US. This is from one hospital group alone. This is if we are able to take all their waste streams once you've invested in the technology, because the technology can take between 5 to 10 tons a day, which then means that we'll be able to charge for these tonnages per kg. And that's where our revenue comes in, and we've got all our financials ready for you to see. Our children are now born with birth defects, with an increase in asthma and lung disease. Therefore, the time is up for you to remain on the sidelines whilst your potential investment languishes in landfill. Imperative ticks off 8 out of 17 of UN Sustainable Development Goals. Our waste is trying to tell us something, but we just keep throwing it away. I mean, even Greta Thunberg said, we've heard enough from politicians, and the world needs real private investors to achieve the real change it so urgently needs. So I leave it to you. If this is not imperative, then what is?